Today we're going to take a look at the AMD Radeon HD7850 GPU from 2012. You might have seen its bigger brother, the 7870, as the minimum requirement for many modern games, but this is just a slightly cut back version. As a side note, this seems to be the least used card on Steam as of September 2020, according to fellow YouTuber Random Gaming in HD. Let's check out how this 8-year-old card fares in 2020. Now, in terms of specs, the HD7850 features 1024 stream processors, 2GB of GDDR5 VRAM, and a stock clock speed of just 860 MHz. Luckily, this card and its cousins, like the R9 270, 270X, and 7870, are really willing to overclock. Not only can this card reach the MSI Afterburner software default limit with ease, it goes 100 MHz beyond that, even with its terrible stock cooler that looks like an Intel stock cooler but on a 130W TDP GPU. It struggles to maintain 70 degrees, and it really is the edge of stability. Speaking of power, this card requires a 6-pin power connector to run, and in terms of VRAM, it has 2GB of GDDR5 on a 256-bit memory bus, and it overclocks well. We got it up to 1375 MHz. Okay, let's talk about benchmarks. The test system is a bit different today with a Ryzen 7 3700X, 16GB of 3600C16 RAM, and all games on SSD storage. First, we have GTA 5 on 1080p low. This card yields a very playable frame rate of 125 FPS. You could easily turn the settings up and still achieve 60 FPS, and the frame time is very stable and there are no stutters or dips. It's good to see that the 2GB of VRAM is not a major bottleneck. Let's check out how the card performs in esports titles. We've tested CSGO at the 1080p max settings, and this card yielded a good frame rate of 131 FPS, meaning you could play on a 120Hz monitor and enjoy max quality. So the card does okay and well optimized in esports titles, but what about modern and demanding games? We tested Shadow of the Tomb Raider at 1080p lowest. It runs at a very stable 45 FPS, totally playable since there aren't much stutters or freezes. It doesn't blue screen or crash either since the overclock is perfectly stable, unlike some previous GPUs we tested. And turning down the resolution to 720p yields a 60 FPS average. It's very impressive that the card can still run a game released 6 years after. As you can see, we have pretty solid results here. Not bad for an 8-year-old mid to high-end GPU. So should you buy one? Yes, if you can find one for cheap. These things are rather rare though, probably because there are few working ones out there in 2020. However, if you can find one for less than $40, do go for it. Compared to something like the RX 560 with very similar performance, that will go for $55 to $70, so you're getting quite a good deal in terms of performance. The new drivers of the year 2020 are very stable as well, and they run pretty good thanks to AMD's fine wine technology. However, there are some caveats. Do keep in mind, this GPU is almost twice as hungry as the aforementioned RX 560, and it requires a 6-pin power connector, when the RX 560 doesn't. It's also starting to show its age. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please leave a like and please consider subscribing. See you next time.